Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. You're watching AMS Live. My name is Boy. It is Thursday, October 26th, and we are at the Polderbaan after a morning of foggy conditions. Same thing we had last Monday, very stubborn, but the fog finally lifted. And yeah, this stream is a bit of a gamble today because there is rain expected according to the weather radar, but looking at it, I think it might not be that bad, but we will have to see. I will show you in a minute. At the moment, we have two runways in use for arrivals: Polderbaan runway when I right and the centered runway, the Zwanenburgbaan. We have a couple of airplanes underway, including a couple of 747s. Right now there is no traffic coming to the Polderbaan. We do have airplanes landing on center. At the moment, Egypt Air is arriving. At the moment it is not cold. We do have a little bit of wind, luckily, mostly from the south. So this is also the direction the weather is coming from, and as you guys can see, there are still openings, or at least less dense areas in the clouds. This is the direction I need to look to for the upcoming weather. You can also still see some patches of blue here and there. This is looking to the southeast, looking at the main area of Schiphol. Looking to the east, you can also see a few openings here and there. This is what it looks like to the north. Got some birds in the sky. This is looking directly to the west. I think they are busy trying to load the sugar beets to get them to the sugar factory, to get them refined into sugar. While we're waiting for traffic, let me also show you the current status quo. So at the moment, this is the current weather. We have few clouds at 800 feet. The wind is blowing from 140 degrees, 7 knots, ground level visibility 10 kilometers or more. Few clouds at 800 feet. It is 11 degrees Celsius, so that is approximately 52 degrees Fahrenheit, if I'm not mistaken. No significant changes in the weather. Visibility this morning near zero. At the moment it is 10 kilometers or more. Once again, here you can see the orientation of the wind. There's a little bit of headwind for the pilots landing. This is what the current runway usage is. We are located over here at the Polderbaan. I think later in the afternoon this runway, the center runway, will close again. There's not a lot of wind. You can see they use two opposite directions to take off from at the moment. That's also something you don't see every day. This is the weather radar. This is the past hour. Let me renew the page for good measure. Now, this is what is coming our way. So I think we are lucky and are going to go through the opening. So we might get a few droplets, but my expectation, my gamble for today is that it is going to be relatively all right. Now, we are expecting another Queen rush hour. We have 4 Boeing 747s all arriving from the west, so that is always good news when there are 2 runways in use for landing. Since they're coming from the west, it is very likely, particularly if you look at the spacing, that all 4 are going to land on this runway. First up is going to be Singapore Airlines cargo arriving from LAX. Then we have a Kuehne and Nagel special livery Atlas Air arriving from Chicago. We have another Atlas Air arriving from Miami, and we have the KLM cargo also arriving from Miami. Time of arrival 5:34 p.m. 5:36 p.m., 4:46 p.m. and 4:26 p.m. So between 4:30 and 5:30 we are going to expect 4 747s. There's another one coming from China, but that is going to arrive later in the evening. That is the current status quo. The PHBVA is on its way to Singapore from Denpasar, so we're not going to see the Orange Pride today, unfortunately. So yeah, that is at the moment the current status quo. Good afternoon to everybody. Hope everybody is doing all right. Ruben, Veldi, Marco, Singapore Airlines Dallas, Fazil, Killer Spieler, Jippe, Tina, good afternoon. Martin, goedemiddag, good afternoon. Mies, Remco, Father Norman, Dot Brownlow, good afternoon. Danny, good afternoon, mate. Aloha, Jin. Vinny, goedemiddag. Recon, good afternoon. Hope everybody is doing all right. Right, time to stand up from behind the laptop. And let's have a look at the weather radar. Not the weather radar, the flight radar. Looks like a BizJet is coming our way, a Pilatus. Yeah, silver flight. Pilatus PC-12. Minute private airplane arriving from Lausanne. Don't see it yet. Will probably be last minute before it becomes visible so small. Hey there, Jean-Marc. Good afternoon. Goedemiddag. Basil, good afternoon. Basil is tuning in all the way from Mumbai, so it's good evening for you. Hey there, Paul. Good afternoon. Paul asks, did I see the first officer waving? No, I didn't. When I'm filming, I'm always looking at everything through the or on the screen of my camera, and that's just a little 3-inch screen. And there's always reflections when you're out here, even today when it's mostly overcast. So those details that you guys see at home, I'm not seeing out here in the field. Only when I do a replay at home do I see stuff like that. While we're waiting for the Pilatus to get closer by and become visually discernible, let's have a look at what is going to Runway Center. This looks like Transavia, a Boeing 737-800, ITA Airways flying for Transavia, arriving from Kos in Greece. Flying for Transavia is flight 5044. 3.5 hours of flight time under its belt as we speak. And the airplane is 22 years old. First flight January 2001. All right, looking at the other side, I'm not seeing anything yet. Erik, goedemiddag. Kurt, good afternoon. Hey there, Mario. Bom dia. Tuning in from Portugal. Now, let's have a look. Can we see that Pilatus already? It should be close by. Where on earth is it then? Oh, I have it. So, silver flight, Pilatus PC-12 arriving from Lausanne. Flight time 1 hour 48 minutes. It is a Pilatus PC-12 NGX, 2 years old. Its first flight June 2021. Absolutely no need to zoom out for this airplane. Oh, Pilatus butt shot is coming in. It's turning to the left already. Beautiful. Hey Jackie, goedemiddag, good afternoon. Matthias, good afternoon. Hey there, Paul, goedemiddag. Ooh, from a rainy Portugal. FFC Vesta, good afternoon. Paul, goedemiddag. Lots of Pauls today. Well, again, this is where the weather is coming from. This is what it still looks like for the time being. Hopefully it's going to stay that way. I'm saying that, but I'm knowing better. The weather gods have not been very favorable the last week, last 2 weeks even. Visualization of the wind. And there's even a little waterfall over here. Look at that. A two-part waterfall. Alright, next up, Vueling, arriving from Barcelona. A320neo, flight time 1 hour 49 minutes. The airplane is 4 years old, first flight January 2019. Flight 8302. Vueling butt shot coming in. Drone and Oldies, guten Tag. Ramonina, good afternoon. Campero, good afternoon. Paula, ciao. The trucks are non-stop coming and going to take away the sugar beets. You heard the truck passing just now sounding the horn, which was quite loud. But most of the sugar beets have been deported already, taken away to the sugar factory. The last bit still there. This is Ryanair flight 3006. It's a MAX 8 arriving from Dublin. Flight time 1 hour and 12 minutes. The airplane is a year old. First flight was in March 2022. Adinelli, goedemiddag. Josegi, good afternoon to you too. Hope everybody is doing all right. Figured I'd go out before the rain, or hopefully no rain, because otherwise it might become very limited the amount of streams that I can still do. The weather for tomorrow, I think rain showers all day, so I'm not sure if I'm able to go out tomorrow. Not sure about the weekend either. So I saw a window of opportunity right now, hoping that the rain that is coming will dissolve a little bit as it is moving up here. So far it seems to be the case. Doesn't look too threatening yet, looking to the south as you guys could see just now. This is EasyJet arriving from Geneva, A320neo. Flight time 1 hour and 17 minutes. A 1-year-old airplane, first flight December 2021. Jason, congratulations! Jason celebrates 2 months of AMS Live membership and writes, "Love the live stream, keep up the good work, boy." I will definitely try to do that, Jason. Thank you so much for your continued support. Congratulations, and here's to another several months. Well, it's actually it's actually opening up, it seems like. Big area of blue over there. Probably preceding worse weather, but for now it looks nice. Let's keep it at that. KLM flight 1712 arriving from Porto in Portugal. Touching down after an hour and 55 minutes of flight. Good afternoon, Captain Eddie Bos, Abdelhami, good afternoon, Ahmad, good afternoon, Mario, guten Tag, Hobbs, good afternoon, Mario Nobrega, good afternoon, GX, good afternoon. Good to see so many viewers tuning in already. We've got 4 747s underway. If you just tuned in, they are coming. At the moment, they are getting ever closer. We have 4 arriving from the west. The first one, Singapore Airlines, arriving from LAX, now flying just over the United Kingdom. Expected in 15 minutes from now, and 3 more are going to follow, so definitely something worth sticking around for, assuming I will also be able to stick around for so long. EasyJet arriving from London Gatwick, A320, 46 minutes of flight time, 5-year-old airplane, first flight August 2018. Alright, there is a banana coming next. Awesome. Hey there Elias, good afternoon. Politiespotter, goedemiddag. Esley, good afternoon. Indeed, the fog has completely disappeared. Took a little while. Was very similar to what we had last Monday. Designs by Jensen, good afternoon, good to see you. Hans, good afternoon. Patrick, goedemiddag, good afternoon. Me, myself, good afternoon. Chris Ninja, good afternoon. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, this is a banana, an A300-600 from DHL, arriving from Madrid. Flight time from Madrid to Amsterdam thus far, 1 hour and 53 minutes. This A300-600 freighter began flying in 1991 in January, ladies and gentlemen. 32 years ago. Where were you back then? Were you already walking the earth? I know I was. I think I was in elementary school back then. Alrighty. I'm seeing that the ultimate is there. Alvin, good evening, mate. Hope you're doing well. Good to see you. Hey Jordi, goedemiddag. Waar sta je dan? It is a banana. Absolutely, Alvin. Thank you so much for that. And the banana slowly taxiing back to the cargo area of the platform area, which is still quite far away. The airplane first has to go around this tower and fire station and along the path of trees back to that part, and then still further to the south to run towards runway 0624 on both sides the cargo area. So this airplane is still 15 minutes on the way, I think. Now also a very big thank you to Jason, who just now gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much for that, Jason. And warm welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge, those 5 members who were gifted the membership by Jason. Thank you so much once again, Jason. In the meantime, as you guys can see, a Transavia 737 landed. Arriving from Lisbon. Heavy traffic passing us by. Got a truck and a crane or something. The work is done. The sugar beets have been loaded onto the trucks. You can see them in the back. Going to the sugar refinery to be made into sugar, so that we can have our sweets. Alright, the next airplane. Still a bit faint. Embraer 175 arriving from Brussels, followed by an E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Geneva. Hey there, Alton, good afternoon. Hope all is well. Tiger, good afternoon. Now, as the Embraer is getting closer by, let's have a look in the water. Not much to see, except the fishing nets are still there. Waterfall. And basically more nets. Also, no sign of either Russell or Sheryl Crow. I think they might be on holiday. Right, so this is KLM flight 1726, Embraer 175, arriving from Brussels. Short flight, 29 minutes. The airplane is 6 years old. First flight February 2017. Well, still nice hole with blue sky coming this way, so let's hope it's going to stay dry. Not sure if it will. Now the opinions differ, Paul, as to what is in those nets. Last time I spoke with Officer Roelof, he said it was for eel. And several other people have said it was for rivierkreeft. What's the English name for them? Don't know anymore. Crayfish, I think. But which one, who is right? I don't know. Although it does make sense that they are fishing for crayfish. Which I believe is an invasive exotic species that shouldn't be here but is thriving because there are no natural enemies over here. That's something that is 100% certain, Danny. Those nets are definitely full of water. Although not long if you get the nets out of the water. You'll see that they are very bad at retaining water. Embraer 175 arriving from Dublin. KLM flight 936, flight time 1 hour and 10 minutes. 7-year-old airplane. And the next airplane in the top left corner. Hey there, Maria. Hey there, Gerard. Ross, good afternoon. All other viewers who have joined in the meantime, welcome to you guys as well. Josephine, good afternoon. Right. Josephine, thank you so much for your super chat. Josephine writes, hi, just stopping by quickly. Hope you all are thumbs up. Well, I am definitely 2 thumbs up. Josephine, thank you for asking. I'm happy that at least I'm able to go out and show you guys some airplanes today because the weather has been abysmal over the last couple of days. Well, it was nice when I had my day job and couldn't go out, is what I mean. And this morning, Monday morning, very stubborn fog in most of the country. Really couldn't see anything. Now we see EasyJet and the bird controller. Hopefully they won't do a race because I think the car is going to lose. This is an A319 arriving from Bristol, by the way. Bonjour Daniel, Ricardo, goedemiddag. And it is actually K3, the exact vehicle that I made an emoji from. Bird controller K3, the Ford Ranger Raptor. Indeed, Jendrosek, that's the one. Hello, hello Robbie. Hope everybody is doing alright. Hope everybody has the time to stick around. 4 747s are coming, expected between 4:30 and 5:30. The first one is over the United Kingdom as we speak. They're all coming from the west, so even with parallel arrivals, and speaking of which, I think I might have to adjust the ticker because I don't see any airplanes landing on center anymore. But even if parallel arrivals are in progress as those 747s arrive, since they're coming in from the west, chances are they are all going to land on this runway, but let me not jinx anything. It is Schiphol after all, you never know anything 100% for sure. Alright, the recently delivered MAX 9 from Corendon is arriving from Kos. We saw the inaugural, it wasn't the inaugural flight, it was the flight I think from the factory arriving from Seattle that we saw on the other side, the very far end, the north end of this runway. We saw it land a couple of weeks ago. And now it is arriving from Kos, the MAX 9 from Corendon. Flight time 3 hours and 36 minutes. This airplane is brand new. Yeah, first flight July 2023. So I thought it was August, but I think it was July then. Flight radar knows best, I'm assuming. ATCS Jeff, good afternoon. Tuning in from sunny Florida. Whoa. If you have some excess sun, do send it over. It's always welcome over here in the Netherlands. Look at that. I think that's a tractor cleaning up after the trucks have laid some fresh clay onto the runway. Cycling path. Mini runway. Hadi Rick, goedemiddag kerel. Sunny Leeuwarden? Really? Are you kidding me? Mate, Well, looking at the current situation, the 747s, the 4 are coming. Singapore Airlines leading the pack. The other 3 you can see over here. Let's have a look at the weather. Refresh. So this is past hour. This is where we are approximately are. This is Schiphol Airport, so we are a bit more to the left. But looking at this, yeah, the question is, will that intensify or will it dissipate? Probably won't be very much. I've refreshed the runway usage site and it does still show parallel runways in use for landing. I'm not sure if that is entirely correct. I don't think it is. I haven't seen any airplanes go to the center runway for some time now. All right, well, Rick, congratulations to you then for having sunshine all day. I'm very jealous. First we had fog and now we have overcast weather. But at least for the time being it is dry, so savor the moment, I suppose. Hey Ina, guten Tag. Long time no speak, good to see you, hope all is well. Now, this is of course an E2 Embraer 195, KLM flight 1584, arriving from Bologna. The airplane took 1.5 hours plus 4 minutes to get here. Switch to autofocus for the moment so that we can also get things more close by in focus. You can see actually how the plane that was laid onto the tarmac is getting rushed up and washed away. So that the cycling path looks somewhat decent again. After the trucks went back and forth to get all the sugar beets that were laying in the field out to the factory. Hey there Lucas, good afternoon. Han, goedemiddag, good afternoon. Alright, our next airplane, Embraer 190, will be followed by another Embraer 190. So, narrow body rush hour for the time being, but that will change as you guys saw just now. Pretty soon 4 747s are going to arrive. First one being Singapore Airlines and also a special Kuehne and Nagel livery from Atlas Air. Now this is KLM flight 1426 arriving from Birmingham. Departed from Birmingham 43 minutes ago. The airplane 13 years old, first flight January 2010. And would you believe it, I'm actually feeling a few droplets right now as we speak. Which is interesting because I showed you the weather radar just a few seconds ago. And it didn't show anything in the vicinity yet. So it's probably not going to be something substantial. Still looks friendly looking up here. Barely noticeable. Alright, let's have a look. Still more narrow bodies coming and coming. Next up is KLM flight 1960, Embraer 190 arriving from Zurich. Flight time 1 hour and 9 minutes. The airplane is 5 years old. First flight February 2018. Alright, the rain is intensifying. And we get a little butt shot. Bit of squeakiness in the brakes. Rick just sent me a picture showing the sunshine over in the north of the country. Well, I'm jealous. At the moment it is raining. You can see there are still patches of blue sky. It is still quite light over here, so I am expecting it to stop quite soon. When the rain has stopped, I will get the lens dry, of course. Next up is number 175, arriving from Austria, from Graz. KLM flight 1896. Flight time 1 hour and 45 minutes. 7-year-old airplane. First flight May 2016. Had to scroll a little up to see the last digit. There was a droplet in front of it, so I couldn't see if it was a 6 or an 8. Nice one, Alvin. I'm not sure if Spreadshop also has lens cloths in their assortment. I don't think they do, but in this instance it would be very nice to have my ALS Live cloth with me. Right, well, the droplets seem to be getting smaller already as we speak, so that's good news. Next up is KLM flight 1694. 737-800 arriving from Lisbon. Flight time 2 hours 10 minutes. First flight March 2019, making this airplane 4 years old. Another Embraer 175 will be following it. Can we see it already? Zooming out a little bit. I think that the precipitation is also reducing the visibility at the moment. So we've got an Embraer 175 following this airplane, and then another Transavia 737-800. True Talk says, "Hi mister, I enjoy your show. Peter from South Africa, have a nice day." Well, Peter, you don't have to say mister to me, you can just say boy. And thank you for your kind words. I'm happy that you like the show. I hope, of course, that everybody does. And if you're new to the channel, I'm very welcome to the show. No A380 today, but 4 747s instead. And looking ahead, we can already see that the first 747 is over the North Sea. So that is going to arrive within or in half an hour or so probably. This is an Embraer 175 arriving from Oslo, KLM. Little Embraer bot shot incoming. So this is not behind the scenes, but a behind scene that you're seeing. Indeed, Alvin, lots of narrow bodies, but so far we may as well embrace it. Embrace it. Still a few droplets, so I will clean the lens shortly. This is what is coming. Further south it does look like more darkness, so yeah, time will tell. Hope the weather gods are favorable, are going to allow us to see the landing of the 747s, but we'll see eventually. Oh, got a CRJ passing us by, just took off from a runway 24 on its way to... Oh, labels are crossing each other. Copenhagen. And this is a Transavia 737-800 arriving from Lanzarote. KLM style landing. Keep up the speed, vacate late, sooner to the gate. Hey there, Janus. Good afternoon. Good to see you again, mate. Hope all is well over there in Greece. And Kadir, good afternoon to you too. Welcome to the show. Think it is mostly dry again, so let me fixate the tripod and clean the... Where did I... Oh, shoot, I forgot my lens cloth. Have to go for a suboptimal option then, a paper handkerchief. So very careful not to scratch. Just slightly. There we go. That should have taken care of that. A few droplets on the other screens as well. There you go. Oh. Quick wipe of my phone screen. Oh, lost the chat. Copy paste the URL into the browser. Paste. And not top chat, but live chat. Right, think we are back in business. Let's have a look. There is an A320 coming this way. Eurowings, operated by Avion Express Malta, arriving from Stuttgart. Super European. Flight time, an hour and a minute. A320-200, 12 years old, first flight February 2011. Hey there, Malcolm and Tanya, thank you so much for the kind words. They write, great show, love from the UK. Love right back at ya. For the time being, this is going to be the last narrow body, or no, well, of course not. We are just going to see one single triple in between, which is turning onto the glide slope according to flight radar, but I failed to see it. I think the clouds are still obscuring things. Oh, murmuration of birds passing in the foreground. What a lovely livery. So colorful and rich. Now, quite remarkable lighting, as you guys can see. Hopefully you guys are seeing it, and yeah, it looks, you can see it as well. That's not a reflection on the lens or something, that is just the lighting as it is right now. So weird light just above the trees, and then you have the clouds. Really remarkable. No time to linger though. There's a 777 coming, and it is already visible. Also, Vinny celebrates 1 month of AMS Live membership, and Vinny writes, thanks for the good info and streams, boy. Well, you're welcome, Vinny. Happy to oblige. I'm glad you're liking it. Happy to have you as a member, and I hope that is going to stay like that for many more months to come. Congratulations and thank you for your support, buddy. Right. This is Qatar Cargo, flight 8102, arriving from Chicago. Flight time thus far, nearly 7 hours, 6 hours, 59 minutes. It is a 777 freighter, 7 years old, first flight June 2016. Well, It was a nice landing, but it was a very quiet landing. I had hoped for a bit of reverser action, but unfortunately it stayed quiet. Relatively speaking, of course. Cleaning service is still busy, I think. Yeah. Nice that they do that. Can get slippery with clay on the tarmac. Alright, next up, Vueling. Vueling A320 arriving from Bilbao. And faintly visible in the top left quadrant is the number 2, which is an A320neo arriving from Glasgow. EasyJet. Looking behind me, I got the feeling that there were some noises from a fire engine or something. So I was having a look to see if maybe I can see it, but there's nothing to see. But the wind is coming from the direction, so something is being carried over here. Some sound, walkie-talkie sound or something. There's nobody over here in the grass south of me spotting that might have a scanner with them. So I'm wondering where the sound was coming from. Don't see it immediately. Festival lover Boris Brechthaven says the beats are gone. They sure are. They were picked up and carried away by several trucks that were lining up at the roundabout at the beginning of the cycling path. Each time one left, another one entered the cycling path, went into the field where the beats were stacked, until the very last one left. What was it, half an hour ago or so? Alright, let me pinch out a little bit on flight radar, and I can see that the Singapore Queen is already in the vicinity of the Dutch coast, so that is good news. First up is this A320neo from EasyJet arriving from Glasgow. Flight time 1 hour and 4 minutes. 1-year-old airplane, first flight July 2022. But the first of 4 Queens is actually very close in the vicinity already. So what you're hearing is the tractor cleaning up the cycling path. It's going to pass me by over here. Also have a authority or bird control vehicle. I think it's an authority vehicle coming this way. Is that authority or what? T9. Not 90, but T9. But as you can see over here, no other people. At least on that side. Next up, Aer Lingus, flight 608 A320, arrival from Dublin, Ireland. Flight time 1 hour and 5 minutes. The airplane 19 years old. First flight July 2004. Irish butt shot is coming. Now, the airplane just vacated the runway and the next airplane is almost ready to land already. KLM flight 1906, arriving from Belgrade. It is a 737-700, has been flying for 2 hours and 9 minutes. The airplane is 13 years old, first flight was in November 2009. Tiny plane, big tail. All right, next up Transavia, arriving from Malaga. Transavia flight 6118, arriving from Malaga. Flight time 2 hours and 25 minutes as we speak. The airplane is 8 years old, first flight March 2015. It's going to be followed by another 737 arriving from Barcelona from KLM, and number 3 is Queen number 1. The second Queen is now just north of London. The other two are still west of Ireland. So they are getting ever closer. Now, can we see the Queen already? The first Queen of the day. I'm not seeing her yet. Also not visually, also not on the screen. She will make her appearance shortly. Somewhere over there. Oh, birds. And there she is. Getting out from behind the clouds. The first Queen of the day, ladies and gentlemen. First of 4. Which, weather permitting, I intend to show you guys. Let's have a quick look at the landing of the preceding 737, arriving from Barcelona, KLM flight 1670, touching down after nearly 2 hours of flight. All right. Here she comes, ladies and gentlemen, the first Queen of the show today. Singapore Airlines cargo flight 7987, arriving from LAX. This airplane is underway to Amsterdam now for 9 hours and 40 minutes, according to flight radar. It's a 747-400 freighter, 20 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in August of the year 2003. So just a couple of months ago it celebrated its 20th birthday. Beautiful machine. Now, don't think that the runway is going to be wet enough to see spray if the reversers get applied, but hopefully they will apply the reversers and we get a nice and noisy landing. Let's look and listen. Well, not the loudest of wheelies, not the loudest of wheelies, not the loudest of landings, not the wheeliest of landings, but definitely a nice one. We've got more 747s underway, as you guys can see. The next one is just crossing the North Sea. If you haven't done so already and you're liking what you're seeing, drop a like please. And also, if you want to keep updates of when I'm going live in the future, make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. Hit the bell icon so that you get notified whenever I go live in the future. This is what it currently looks like visually. It was said that rain is going to fall. Let's have another quick look at the weather radar, shall we? What's it look like right now? Reload the page. So this is the current status quo. Here we are, just a little left of that. These were the few droplets that we saw earlier. So it does look like a little bit of precipitation is coming. Doesn't look like a lot. It doesn't look that bad. Maybe it will evaporate before it touches the ground. Alright, so at the moment, different runway usage. That's also interesting. We now have parallel departures and everything is north-south oriented. Let's look at the latest METAR. So we have wind from 120 degrees, visibility 10 kilometers or more, few clouds at 1,000 feet, still 11 degrees Celsius, low pressure, no significant changes expected in the upcoming period. Let me also update then the ticker with that METAR so that you guys can read it back in your own tempo if you want to. And departures is 18 left and 18 center. And all airplanes land on this runway as we speak, which is also nice. The next airplane to arrive is from Sun Express and is arriving from Ankara in Turkey. 737-800, flight time 3 hours and 36 minutes. Those Turks know how to use the reverse thrust, that's for sure. That sounded better than the Queen did, if you ask me. Alright, next up, EasyJet A319, arriving from London Gatwick, one of the many airplanes that fly back and forth on a daily basis. It's going to be followed by a 737-800 arriving from Milan and an EasyJet A320 arriving from Naples. Sadly, the clouds are not allowing us beautiful glide slope shots today. EasyJet flight 28680. 46 minutes of flight time between Gatwick and Amsterdam thus far. The airplane 13 years old, first flight May 2010. Current big picture. Still some openings over here. However, it does look like further up we have a bit more weather, so to speak. Tiger asks if there are any Delta A330s expected. I don't think there are. The inflow of American airplanes is usually in the morning. So I would have to say probably not. Don't know for sure, but most of the traffic to the United States and from the United States and Canada is taking place in the mornings over here. Right, Herbert confirming. Geraldo, good morning. Tuning in from Brazil. Welcome to the show. Now, we do have a 767 and a Dreamliner arriving shortly, and the A380 just took off, but it's already south of Schiphol. Don't think we can see it from over here. No, visibility is too poor, unfortunately. A320 arriving from Naples. EasyJet flight 24231. And after that, we're going to see the Latam Cargo 767. And after that, a Dreamliner. And another behind scene, not behind the scenes, but behind scene. Next up is Latam Cargo. Latam Cargo flight 1504. Arriving from Miami, Florida, a Boeing 767-300ER has been flying for 8 hours and 48 minutes from Miami to Amsterdam as we speak. The airplane is 15 years old. First flight was in May 2008. Butt shot from the Latam Cargo 767. Almost, a little bit more to the left. A little bit more. Come on. There you go. Perfect. Perfect. All right. Next up is going to be Kenya Airways, but not before Merlin says hello to Avi and Phil who are watching from Dubai. Hello there to you too from me, Avi and Phil. And Merlin, thank you so much for your super chat. Let me quickly turn around the camera. Kenya Airways arriving from Nairobi is going to be next. Faintly visible, flight 116 arriving from Nairobi. The flight time 8 hours and 51 minutes. The airplane is 9 years old. First flight June 2014. After this airplane, an Embraer 175. After that, another Chinese 777 freighter. Pity that we don't get to see the glide slope shots like we would be able to with good visibility further to the north. Am I the only one who always have to think of Toto's Africa, or when seeing the airplane like this, or particularly with that special livery with all the animals on it? Or are other people also thinking of that song when seeing this airplane? Now, despite what the weather radar might show just now, this is what it looks like in actuality, so yeah. Still looks good. Looks more gloomy looking to the north actually than looking to the south, where the wind is blowing from. Hey there, Rod. Good afternoon. This is KLM flight 1756 that is coming up. Embraer 175 arrival from Bremen. Also a short flight, 32 minutes thus far. Five-year-old airplane, first flight April 2018. The airplane behind it is going to be China Cargo Airlines flight 205, which is arriving from Shanghai and is a 777 freighter. And pinching a little bit out, I can see on flight radar that Kuehne number 2, which is a 7478, is approaching the Dutch coast. So the second of 4 Kuehnes that we expect to see today. Hope that we can see, I should say. You never know with runway usage over here in Amsterdam, but number 2 is arriving and is getting ever closer. Hey, Michi, good afternoon. Guten Tag, nice after work show, yeah. Mother Nature forced me to do this. This morning it was densely fogged over here, couldn't see a thing. Same thing we had on Monday. Also wanted to do a stream initially on Monday, only could do it in the morning, but the weather didn't allow me to. This is China Cargo Airlines, flight 205. Even though they didn't apply full blast, they did use the reverse thrust there. Nice to hear. So this airplane arriving from Shanghai, touchdown after 11 hours and 20 minutes of flight. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 or 4, maybe 5 airplanes preceding the 747. Not exactly sure in which order they are going to arrive at the glide slope. 4 or 5 more, and then the second Kuehne, I think. This is KLM flight 1980. It's an E2 Embraer 195 arriving from Gdansk in Poland. The airplane has been underway now for 1 hour and 24 minutes. She's a year old, first flight March 2022. Let's see, got a Pegasus A321 Neo behind it. Can we see it? I'm really bummed out by the lack of visibility to the north today. Ordinarily, you could always see lovely glide slope shots with 3, sometimes 4 airplanes approaching. But not today. Then again, I think we should count ourselves lucky that we have a window of opportunity to go out in the first place today. Initially I thought I wouldn't be able to go out today. Even went to the city of Leiden on the bike this morning through the fog to do some shopping. But returning home, could see that it was opening up nicely. Had a look at the weather radar when I got back home, and I figured, well, maybe we could squeeze out a few hours. And this is what it looks like right now, with a big bit of blue over here. And, well, not fully convinced that we are going to stay dry, but for the immediate time being, it doesn't look that threatening. Hopefully it's going to stay that way. We are definitely going to see the landing of Queen number 2 in a few minutes. Now the Coast Guard airplane that is flying in the vicinity of the Queen is going to land on the Schiphol Oostbaan most likely. Hey there Juan, hey there James 1. Ooh, smooth operator, Christopher G says. Also a good song. What you guys are seeing approach right now is the Pegasus, or as some people refer to it, flypigs.com, due to the abbreviation that is on the side of the fuselage. It's arriving from Istanbul, A321neo, flight time 3 hours and 18 minutes, so that's a bit longer than normal. Normally Istanbul Amsterdam is about 3 hours exactly, so they must have had headwind. Ah, Jackie, just in time for Queen number 2. She is at the moment number 2 for arrival, following the Embraer 190 that is going to be the number 1. Oh. Well, if you like fireworks, if you like sound effects, if you like airplanes, and if you like speeding, Bird Controller is the job for you. That was definitely faster than the normal speed limit on public roads. Alright, number 1, arriving from Newcastle, Embraer 190 KLM flight 960, and behind it, but not yet visible, or is it? Queen number 2. Her Majesty is not yet visible, but she soon will be. Now, nice airplane I've been looking forward to seeing in real life for a while. The Kuehne and Nagel special livery from Atlas Air. It is arriving from Chicago. Number 2. Still hidden from sight by the clouds, but not for long. Let's quickly have a look at the landing of the Embraer 190 arriving from Newcastle. Or Newcastle. Landed safely back to where the 747 should appear somewhere. Not seeing it visually yet. I just pointed the camera in the general direction I think it is going to appear in. Now, if you also like looking at grey sky like I do, make sure to give the show a like and consider subscribing if you haven't done so. You can turn on notifications and get notified whenever I go live in the future. I think I see the Queen. Yeah, there she is. appearing from the mist, well, the clouds. So this is Atlas Air flight 8641. It's a 7478 in the Kuehne and Nagel special livery. Flight time from Chicago thus far 7 hours 13 minutes. It's a 7478 freighter, relatively new, a year old. First flight was in October 2022. Second of 4 queens that we are expecting to see before the sun sets and within the hour. She definitely looks brand new, doesn't she? The white's still nice and white, shiny, no dirt on the flaps. Definitely a looker. Now, believe it or not, the sun is actually trying to shine through the clouds as we speak. Long distance butt shot, momentarily. Right, next up, behind me, an Embraer 175 arriving from Genoa. Behind that is going to be a Dreamliner arriving from Tokyo Narita. Let's have a quick look at the current status quo. So, okay, runway usage has once again changed. They're currently using this runway as the only runway for arriving and the center runway for departures and 09 as well. The weather radar, this is the past hour, this is where we are, just a little left of the square. Does indicate that we might get some droplets, but it does also seem to evaporate, so maybe we can even keep it dry. This is the current status quo. We're still waiting for 2 747s that are now in between Ireland and mainland United Kingdom. Another Atlas Air arriving from Miami, and it's a popular place of origin because we also have this KLM cargo operated by Martin Air Holland also arriving from Miami, Florida. Both airplanes arriving between 5:30 and 6, so that is in just under an hour from now, 5:42 and 5:45, so that might be a case of 2 consecutive 737s landing on the Polderbaan. Wouldn't that be something to see too? Hopefully visibility will clear up so that we can see them in the same shot. Now the Embraer has landed, and this is the Dreamliner arriving from Tokyo Narita, KLM flight 864. Flight time of, brace yourself, 13 hours and 24 minutes. Holy cow. 13 hours, 24 minutes. So I also went to Tokyo Narita on a direct flight, but I don't recall it being so long. Oh, of course, but back then that was before the geopolitical thing that is now going on. and I was able to fly over Russia, and this airplane probably took a little detour to get here. Holy sushi roll, Rick says. Indeed, buddy. Not holy guacamole, but holy sushi roll. Holy ramen. Right. Indeed, Alan, a 13+ hour flight isn't a flight, it's a journey. Hey Debbie, good afternoon. Debbie tuning in from Wales. All other viewers who have joined us in the meantime as well, welcome to the show. Hope everybody is having fun and doing all right. This is what it looks like looking to the southwest. Still that hazy light. What you're seeing is not a dirty lens, or is it? No, it is a clean lens. It is what you actually see over here. Interesting nebulosity and lighting. The next airplane arriving should be an Embraer 190 arriving from London City. Now, I'm not yet seeing it visually. Also not on camera. Let's have a look. Hey Wilma, goedemiddag. Good to see you again. If you turn the camera this way, you can actually hear the airplanes spool up, taking off from runway 09. Let me see what we can see from over here. Not exactly sure where they are going to appear above the tree line. And if we're able to see it from over here, visibility on ground level is good, so you would be able to see something, I suppose. No, I think it is too bad after all. Now, look who's here. He kept quiet. Yes, there we go. Russell. He's back. He's doing all right. And here is the Embraer 190 arriving from London City. BA City Flyer. Well, that is a good question, Alvin. How do you differentiate between Russell and Cheryl? Well, one fights a lot and the other doesn't, so... Then again, it might also have been Cheryl that we saw just now then, come to think of it. Also, Russell is typically a bit more noisy than Cheryl. Next up is Privilege Style, flying for KLM, Airbus A321, arriving from Madrid. Flight time 1 hour and 50 minutes. 15-year-old airplane, first flight September 2008. Passing us by, having taken off, and going to the north is... that's an Embraer 175 going back to Gdansk. Right, next up, an airplane that is not visible on flight radar, because according to flight radar my next airplane should be a 737-800. This clearly isn't it. So it's probably a bizjet landing. Is it Max Verstappen? It must be. It's Max Verstappen's bizjet that flew through a cloud of snow, so that's why the airplane is white instead of black and orange. No, but it doesn't show on flight radar, so I have no idea if this is a private owner or if it is NetJets or something. Janus! Janus, are you flying privately from Greece to the Netherlands? I didn't know you were coming to visit. Hey, Jin! Mr. Cathay Spotter also back in the house. Good to see you, buddy. Hope all is well. Right now, this is the 737 that is on flight radar. Still the old iteration of the livery, the standard livery from KLM, with a straight line from nose to tail, separating the white underside and the blue top side. But somebody in the chat told us not too long ago that this is the only airplane in the fleet of KLM still flying with this livery. Now, this is what the southwest currently looks like. It does look a bit more threatening. Also, I have to say, this looks nice. I'm not happy that it is coming my way, but it does look nice. Hey Berend, goedemiddag. Sponge, good afternoon. And Tiger says Isle of Man was its registration, so maybe it was a banker or a... I don't know. Next up is Top Air Portugal flight 676 arriving from Lisbon. This A320 has been flying for 2 hours and 21 minutes, 17 years old. First flight June 2006. Right, 2 more narrow bodies and then it looks like an Etihad 777 is arriving. It's been a while since I caught one of them on film while streaming. Next up, Speedbird Flight 432, a countdown flight number. A320 arriving from London Heathrow, flight time 39 minutes, the airplane 14 years old, first flight November 2008. And Speedbird butt shot incoming. Hey there Tony, good afternoon, good to see you. The behind scene has passed. Time to show the front of the next airplane. KLM flight 1446, Embraer 190 arriving from Aberdeen. It's underway now for 1 hour and 8 minutes. This is a 9-year-old airplane that had its first flight in January of the year 2014. Looks like traffic jam on the highway to the left towards Alkmaar, away from Amsterdam. That's always in the evening rush hour, almost always, unless it is holiday season. But the autumn school holidays have just passed. Right, let's quickly turn around for the Etihad 777 freighter. There she is. Etihad Cargo Flight 917, arriving from Abu Dhabi. Flight time 7 hours and 3 minutes. A 777 freighter, 10 years old already. First flight April 2013. Let's have a look and listen. I'm not expecting a wheelie, but I am hoping for some thrust reverser action from this one. Disappointing. It looked like an idle reverse landing, but we do get to see a big butt shot. Very nice, 777 butt shot. Not too bad. Hey there, Karen, who says hello from Canada. And all other viewers, good afternoon to you too. Welcome to the show. If you guys just tuned in, you already missed the landing of 2 Boeing 747s. There are still 2 coming, and I hope that the weather will allow me to film them both for you guys. Let's have a look and see where they currently are flying. So there are 2 expected to arrive, both currently flying over the mainland of the United Kingdom. Both arriving from Miami, Atlas Air and also KLM Cargo. This is the Kuehne and Nagel that already landed earlier. So half an hour or so still from now. I think they were expected around 5:45 local time. Hopefully we'll keep it dry until then, or at least moderately wet, manageable wet, but dry is better of course. This is an EasyJet A319 arriving from London Stansted. Where we started the day with hardly any wind and a lot of mist and fog. The wind has definitely picked up in the meantime. Making for some unevenness in the plane following. And also if you look in the distance, the proxy windsock, the chimneys, you can see the smoke's not leaving the chimneys horizontally just yet, but definitely not vertically anymore. Hey Roy, goedemiddag. Good to see you, buddy. Hope all is well. Embraer 190, KLM flight 1416, arriving from Lyon. Flight time 1 hour and 16 minutes. The airplane is 15 years old. First flight October 2008. And already we saw 1 Pilatus PC-12 land on Polderbaan earlier this afternoon. There is a second one coming after this airplane. Things have become a bit more grey over here. We had some blue patches and we had some light shining through the clouds earlier, but now it is definitely looking a bit more threatening. Darker to the southwest and also to the south itself. Let's have another look at the weather radar after the Pilatus has landed, or are we able to do that before still? I think we might be able to make it even before. Okay, so this is the loop of the last hour. And what you see is that there was rain initially, but over the last hour it did actually dissolve. So even though the sky looks a bit threatening, probably is not going to be very dry, very wet. At least that's what I'm hoping for. Fingers crossed. Now, PC-12 number 2. Oh, looking at the airplane on flight radar, it does look nice. Global Airlift Solutions, Fly 7, Pilatus, arriving from Bournemouth. Flight time 1 hour and 11 minutes. A 15-year-old airplane, had its first flight in January 2008. And landing slowly is asking why the Pilatus isn't landing on runway 22. I think it has to do with the current runway configuration. Airplane's taking off from 18 left. So landing on runway 22 means landing traffic crossing the runway that is used for takeoffs. So I think that could endanger or at least it elevates the risk of a potential collision when the landing airplane on runway 22 has to go around. And Roy says no rain north of me. Yeah, well, Rick already sent me a picture earlier of how sunny it was back in the north. The downside is that the wind is very much coming from this direction. But then again, the sun is also going under in an hour from now, so maybe this looks more dark than it actually is. Looking on the weather radar, it looks okay. And in fact, looking directly east of me, this is what I'm looking at. And further to the east, you can see more open. Oh, and we do happen to see an airplane take off from runway 09. Ah, okay, well, no, so runway 09 is used for departures. So that would mean that landing on runway 22 means crossing traffic. And another little butt shot from the KLM. Next up, KLM flight 1546, Embraer 175. Little squeakiness in the Embraer brakes, but that's nothing new. Still hear the sound of the turboprop of the PC-12 when a gust of wind was blowing the noise this way. KLM flight 1546 arriving from Leeds, Embraer 175, flight time 51 minutes, 6-year-old airplane, first flight July 2017. And a Corendon 737 behind it. Arriving from Gazipasa. Now, I know a lot, but I don't know where Gazipasa is. Can someone enlighten me, please? Is that in Turkey? Probably is, but I have absolutely no idea. Thank you, Dave. It is in Turkey, landing slowly, also confirming that it is in fact south of Turkey above Cyprus. Okay. Ronald asks if he missed some specials. Well, there was a Kuehne and Nagel 7478 landing earlier. That was definitely nice to see. I think that's the only one. No, I don't recall having seen any other specials, at least not immediately, no. If there were more specials, they haven't impressed me that much, I think. tiny airplanes, but if they use the thrust reversers, they do make a lot of noise. The random pilots certainly know how to use that lever. Ronald, if you wait when I'm done streaming and I get home, and well, it's probably going to be around dinner time, so after dinner later tonight I will also timestamp the arrivals of the Queens and all the other highlights that were there. So if you look back later tonight or maybe tomorrow, you should be able to see all the highlights instantaneously because by then I will have timestamped them. Next up is Austrian Airlines. Flight 373 A320neo arriving from Vienna. Flight time 1 hour and 37 minutes. Brand new airplane. First flight May this year. Herzlich willkommen und servus. Look at the engines, you can see through them. The cores of those Neos, very small, high bypass. So with the right angle and the right lighting, you can nearly see through them. Always nice to see. Now John, thank you so much for your continued support. Congratulations on 1 month of AMS Live membership. Glad to have you as a member. Hope you're going to stick around for many more months to come. Congratulations and thanks again, John, for your continued support. Right, well, I think that the darkness that you were seeing earlier is just has to do with the sun also not being very high in the sky anymore. Think today the sun sets around 6:30 p.m. local time, so that is in an hour or so from now. Embraer 190 arriving from Geneva, KLM flight 1930. Up next, flight time 1 hour and 19 minutes. 13-year-old airplane, first flight August 2010. Kuehne taxiing in the background to the main platform area. If you guys are unfamiliar with the layout of Schiphol Airport, this runway is the northwesternmost runway, the latest edition, built in 2003, and it is so far removed from the main platform area. It has its dedicated ATC control tower and dedicated fire station adjacent to it. You can see the airplanes that have landed taxi back to the main platform area. They have a 10 to 15 minute taxi ahead of them. I think it's probably one of the longest, if not the longest taxi back to the gate from this runway in the world. This Austrian airplane taxiing along the line of trees, which is how they need to get back to the main platform area. The main ATC control tower, the original ATC control tower, you can see, by the way, the airplanes in the distance, is all the way over there. So you can imagine, with low visibility or not optimal visibility, you don't get to see what is going on over here from over there, particularly when zooming out. Actually impressive how loud those 737s can be when they do use their reverse thrust fully. Makes it all the more obvious how little at least the KLM pilots use them. But yeah, this is the main ATC control tower, the terminal building immediately adjacent to it. So if you have to go to the gate over there, from over here you can imagine the airplanes are still 10-15 minutes underway. And that's when everything is optimized. Earlier in the year, when the center runway was closed, the airplanes had to go around the northern or southern threshold, so they couldn't cross the runway, the center runway, immediately upon arrival, which added another 5 minutes or so. So if you were going to London, half of your flight would consist of the taxi at Schiphol Airport, almost. EasyJet A320 arriving from Berlin. Landed after an hour and 7 minutes of flight. 10-year-old airplane, first flight October 2013. Hey there Russell, good day to you too. Tuning in all the way from Canada. And indeed, Alvin, that was a route interruption. Then again, those route interruptions I'll have any time of the day. It's a pity that they don't use the reverse thrust more often over here at Schiphol. You can almost recognize the airplane if it is Dutch or not. The Dutch airplanes use reverse thrust significantly less than the foreign pilots seem to be doing. That's for both the narrow bodies and wide bodies. This is KLM flight 1782, Embraer 175 arriving from Hamburg. Flight time 50 minutes. 6 years old, first flight May 2017. Now, let me say a big thank you to Tiger74, who just gifted 5 AMS Live memberships. Thank you so much for your support there, Tiger, and congratulations all 5 new AMS Live members. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Hope you enjoy the custom emojis at your disposal. And once again, a big thank you to Tiger for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much. Now, it is 5:25. Let me zoom out on Flight Radar a little bit and see if I can see 747s already arriving from the west. I do see them arriving. I think they are, midway between the United Kingdom and the Netherlands over the North Sea. Let's see, the KLM is expected in 23 minutes according to Flight Radar. Now they were both expected around the same time, but the 7478 from Atlas looks like it's a bit further out still. Expected in 25 minutes. Okay, so we have a 3-minute separation. Oh, wouldn't that be something, folks? Wouldn't that be something to see 2 queens behind each other in the same shot? I think we did see it before one time, but Right. I was over the North Sea with my flight radar. Let's go back to what is going on over here. Embraer 190 arriving from Frankfurt. KLM flight 1768. Flight time 58 minutes. 9-year-old airplane, first flight November 2013. Let me have a look on the laptop screen. Brightness still looks okay, doesn't it? You can see that it is getting a bit more dark, but it doesn't look like the footage is too dark yet. I'm asking this because I have a relatively small aperture at the moment, or diaphragm I should say, so I could open up the diaphragm as it gets more dark when needed. Next up, another KLM Embraer 190 arriving from Munich, KLM flight 1796. Flight time 1 hour and 16 minutes. 13-year-old airplane, first flight February 2010. Well, we will be losing light quickly over the coming hour because the sun is expected to set in an hour or so from now, so I will open up the iris a little bit, go back from F8 to F4. Next up is Scandinavian Airlines, flight 1549 A320 Neo, arriving from Copenhagen. Hey, look at that, folks. Glide slope shots, they're back. Visibility to the north, 3 airplanes visible. A320 Neo arriving from Copenhagen. Flight time 1 hour and 7 minutes. 4-year-old airplane, first flight May 2019. Hadi Lane, goedemiddag. Good to see you, buddy. Hope all is well. That goes for everybody. Hope everybody is doing alright. Hope everybody is having fun. And some of you asked about doing night streams earlier. Consider this a test of low light conditions. Earlier I did try it once. Had focus issues back then, but that was while using autofocus. Now, last half year, if not longer, I've been streaming using mostly manual focus, set focus to infinity, which is 99% of the time dead on. So I think it's just a matter of seeing how noisy the footage is going to get when it's going to get ever more dark. Ricardo is going for dinner. Thanks for joining, Ricardo. See you on the next one. Eet smakelijk. EasyJet A320 Neo arriving from Palma de Mallorca. Flight time of 2 hours and 10 minutes. Brand new airplane. First flight of this airplane was in July 2023. Next up is an Embraer 190 KLM flight 1202 arriving from Stavanger. Man, how many Embraer 190s does KLM have, and how many have we seen already today? I feel like it's been Embraers mostly today, with the exception of an occasional heavy in between. Is that an Anvil cloud of a thunderstorm or rain shower over there? Does look like it a little bit, doesn't it? Nicely illuminated by the low sun in the sky. Right, landing slowly, confirming it is indeed an Anvil cloud over there. So, speaking of Anvil clouds, I'm not sure if I am hoping, of course, that I am going to be able to go out for another stream tomorrow, but I'm not sure if I am able to. I will have to look later tonight and also tomorrow morning, early in the morning, to see what the weather is going to be like. Rain showers, possibly with thunderstorms, I heard on the news today, are expected for tomorrow. The weather gods are definitely not in our favor, or have been in our favor over the last 2 weeks. Well, I'm happy that the Anvil is over there, not over here. Right, a little bit of variety, a non-Embraer. Next is a 737-800 from KLM, arriving from London Heathrow. KLM flight 1018. Flight time 47 minutes. The airplane 24 years old. First flight of this airplane was in August 1999, so it is a millennial. I'm unable to see the airplane behind it already, which is a pity. We did see 3 airplanes earlier, just now. I had the idea that it was opening up a little bit more to the north, but maybe not. Authority! Respect my authority! Alright, let's have a look. Next up, SmartLynx, operated by SmartLynx Estonia. And TFL looks like an airplane flying for TUI. And now we do see 2 airplanes in the same shot. A320 arriving from Antalya. Flight time 4 hours and 5 minutes. 16-year-old airplane, first flight October 2007. Hey there Gillian, good afternoon. What's the weather like in Manchester today? I thought I saw on the radar earlier that parts of the UK were also having rain. And I did also see that the south of Europe also had a lot of rain to endure today. Actually, many parts of Europe, in fact. There weren't many places where the sun was shining abundantly, other than with Rick in the north today. Even those small airplanes, the 737s, the A320s, when they do go all out with their reverse thrust, they can get quite loud actually. Next up, ITA, the beautiful Azzurro, Or is it? No, it's... Oh, that's the old Alitalia livery, isn't it? Looks like it, yeah. Or should we now call it the retro Alitalia livery? ITA Airways flight 110, landing now, arriving from Rome. A320, 2 hours and 6 minutes of flight time. Benvenuti a tutti. What's that little blue bit there? Is that a bit of tape? Is that normal? That little bit of blue just at the end of the wing? On the main fuselage? Interesting. And Kuehne asks, Spottersplaats, Polderbaan, well, a bit more to the north. Spottersplaats itself is where you can see the people in the middle of the screen. The fence over there, that is the Spottersplaats itself, the parking place. If you leave the parking place, take a ride to the roundabout and then continue, you will reach this cycling path. And if you continue to the north, then you can end up where I am standing over here. Now, this is what it currently looks like, looking to the southwest. Doesn't look like rain immediately. Actually, looks quite quiet, nice. Not sure if I'm even seeing a little bit of blue in between. There definitely is a little bit of blue over there. So the rain that you saw on the weather radar that I showed you guys earlier is definitely dissolving as it is coming this way. German Airways, not Chucky, standard livery. Flying for KLM, arriving from Aalborg. And a little butt shot from the German Airways. You can see beautifully the reflection of the lights and the stripes on the tarmac on the bottom end of the back of the fuselage. Landing slowly asks if I can show the Anvil cloud again. Of course I can. Do get the impression that the clouds in the foreground have obscured the Anvil itself a little bit. You can still see the cloud, but the Anvil shape doesn't look like as pretty as it was 10 minutes ago or 5 minutes ago. First time I showed you. Alvin says, oh guys, I think it's going to be back-to-back 747s. Oh man, wouldn't that be something? Then I think picking the thumbnail for this stream will not be difficult then. Now it is definitely getting a bit more dark. I already reduced the f-stop or opened up the f-stop from f8 to f4. Hopefully you guys are still having a good view. Looking on my laptop, it does look like the footage is still balanced and nice. Alright, next up, Vueling A320neo. And what's up with the nose of the airplane? Looking at the airplane photo on flight radar. Then again, looking at it now, it looks like a standard nose and a standard airplane. A320neo arriving from Barcelona. Vueling flight 8306. Flight time 1 hour and 46 minutes. The airplane 4 years old. First flight June 2019. Ah, Valentijn Small, goeiedag. boy, you have to know that Valentine is still a young boy. He's the son of a colleague and friend of mine. So you have to excuse him. Doe je de groetjes aan je papa, Valentijn? Next up is an Embraer 190 in the KLM livery, SkyTeam livery, KLM SkyTeam livery. They're all in the KLM livery, but in the SkyTeam livery. KLM flight 1886 arriving from Nuremberg. Flight 105. Flight time is. I need my coffee. Flight time 1 hour and 6 minutes. The airplane is 11 years old. First flight April 2012. Kuehne asks about an A308. I don't know that we have A308s. We do have DHL A306s. And I don't know the days that they land on by heart. We did have one arriving from Madrid today, but... Alright. 737 arriving from Bucharest. And Air Europa, not with the Dreamliner, but with a 737 behind this airplane. I see Queen number 3. Now number 2. On Flight Radar I saw it at least. Not yet visually, but I was already anticipating to see it. First up is Air Europa flight 1093 arriving from Madrid. 737-800, flight time 1 hour 51 minutes. 5-year-old airplane, first flight June 2018. But it is indeed Queen time. The Queen already visible, top left. Queen number 3. And we are going to see back-to-back Queens, ladies and gentlemen. Bloody hell. That is a nice treat. So I'm going to forgo the landing of the 737. I want to see the two together. So we are going to see two Queens back to back, ladies and gentlemen. Queen number 3 and Queen number 4, both arriving from Miami, Florida. In the foreground we have KLM Cargo, Boeing 747-400, flight time 8 hours 19 minutes. Boeing 747-400 freighter ER, 20 years old, first flight March 2003. Behind it we have Atlas Air flight 5219, which is a 747-8. Also arriving from Miami, Florida, 8 hours and 16 minutes of flight time, 12 years old, first flight October 2011, and behind that the A350 from Finnair arriving from Helsinki. think this is going to be the thumbnail of the stream. The shot of the two queens and the A350 behind it. Let's look and listen, ladies and gentlemen. Idle reversers, such a shame. And what a luxury that we don't have time to linger on it, because another queen is coming. Hopefully this one will be a bit louder than the previous one. Unfortunately, more idle reversers. Will the Finnair A350 do better then? Finnair flight 1305 A350-900 arriving from Helsinki, Finland. Flight time 2 hours and 9 minutes. 6-year-old airplane. First flight May 2017. That's a good idea, Alvin. We should tear down part of the Polderbaan. It's too long. Oh wow, I thought that the first 747 would be closer by, but it is already quite far ahead. Atlas taking its time. And Finnair also vacated the runway. Now, a very big thank you to Herbert for your super sticker. Pair character stretching his arm forward and raising his thumb up. Well, thank you so much for that, Herbert. And also a big thank you to Bernd, who just gifted an AMS Live membership. And Nitro Zeus was gifted the membership by Bernd. Congratulations, Nitro. Welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Bernd, thank you once again so much for a gifted membership. Thank you so much. Now folks, if you like the show and you haven't done so already, remember to drop a like and subscribe if you want to stay updated of when I'm going live in the future. Make sure that you turn on notifications when you do. Ronald and Roy both have to go have dinner. Enjoy your meals, gentlemen. Thank you guys for joining. Now, let's have a look. I can see that there is an A330 and a 777 arriving from the east. Turkish A330 followed by a KLM 777. So let's stick around for that at least. For now, we'll have to make do with a few more narrow bodies. This is another A319 from EasyJet, another one arriving from London Gatwick. I think that's the third or fourth that we have seen in the stream so far this afternoon. So over the day, a lot of flights back and forth between all the London airports and Amsterdam. Flight time 51 minutes. "16-year-old airplane, first flight May 2007. And more butt shots or behind scenes coming in. Landing slowly, also heading out. Thanks for joining Landing Slowly. Hope to see you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Glide slope is nicely becoming visible with the landing lights of the airplanes being on. And Vinny also, thank you so much for gifting an AMS Live membership. And Richard was gifted the membership by Vinny. Thank you so much, Vinny, and welcome to the Aurora Sky Lounge. Richard or Richard. EasyJet arriving from Geneva. Swiss registered airplane. So not well, is that then an Alpine as well? Or is it only Alpine on ATC for the Austrian registered EasyJet airplanes? Right, next up, KLM flight 1188 arriving from Bergen, E2 Embraer 195, left Bergen an hour and 29 minutes ago. The E2 is 1 year old, first flight February 2022. Okay, thank you for the information, Herbert. So, oh, and Sam says it's Top Swiss. Okay, so it's Alpine for Austrian registered EasyJet and Top Swiss for Swiss registered EasyJet airplanes. Herbert says center runway open, looks like. Is that so? Oh yeah, oh damn it. So that A330 is indeed the first airplane to go to center, and I'm assuming that the 777 arriving from Beijing is also going there. So what is coming our way then? Narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies, narrow bodies. Sky looks nice though. You can definitely see thinner parts. And with the exception of a few droplets that weren't supposed to be there, at least judging the weather radar, the rain that was on the weather radar never came through, at least until now. And what we did have were a few droplets that weren't supposed to be there. That's Dutch weather for you. Sometimes it feels like opposite land. And the Turkish A330 is already visible in the distance. I think following it will make for a nice view with the colorful backdrop that you see right now. It is twilight. In half an hour from now the sun is going to set over here. Well, before the A330 is going to get really close, let's have a look at the landing of this airplane arriving from Ibiza. PHHXE. If I remember correctly, I flew to Innsbruck in that airplane once. What was that noise? That sounded different from a squeaky brake. Not sure what that was. This is Turkish A330-300. Maybe a bit wider. See the twilight sky background. Fortunately, we don't get to see the Anvil anymore. Indeed, Jendrosek, it almost sounded like a fart. Oh. Turkish flight 1953, by the way, A330-300 arriving from Istanbul. Flight time, the normal time, 3 hours 6 minutes. That seems nominal. Vueling will be passing in the foreground. Ross in BC, see you later. Thanks for joining. Enjoy the rest of your day, or evening, or night. Afternoon, probably. Father Norman also has to go. Thanks for tuning in, Father Norman. Nice to have you on the stream once again. Looking forward to the next one. Enjoy the rest of your evening, mate. Right. Let's have a quick look at the airplane landing at Polderbaan next, which is a KLM 737 arriving from Edinburgh. Edinburgh? No, brah. Edinburgh. Little wheelie. Haven't seen a lot of wheelies today, but definitely a little one. Let's also have a quick look at that triple arriving from Beijing. KLM flight 898 is what you're looking at. It's a 777-200 arriving from Beijing, China. Flight time 12 hours 13 minutes as we speak. It's a 777-200ER, 19 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in September 2004. You can probably hear the airplane spool up, taking off from runway 09. Is that the... Well, I'm not sure what airplane that was. Hey, glide slope. Just two? I guess just two. Next up, British Airways, the flight between London City and Amsterdam, Speedbird, flight 8455, Embraer 190. Short flight, 43 minutes, par for the course, 11-year-old airplane, first flight May 2012. Probably not we probably aren't going to see any rain. You can see the openings in between the clouds over here. It all petered out as it was moving north. My gamble worked out. Now, unlike last, what was it, Saturday or Sunday, when I had to rain delay for an hour. This is Royal Air Maroc arriving from Casablanca, flight 850-737-800, touchdown after 2 hours and 15 minutes of flight. Howdy Ralph, goedenavond. And this time of day is not normal for me, but this morning I wanted to go out, but it was just too foggy, as most of the Dutchies will have seen. I think 90% of the country was immersed in a dense layer of mist, of fog. Same on Monday. Now, unfortunately, on Monday I wasn't able to go out in the afternoon. The weather was good enough to do that, but my agenda unfortunately did not allow me to do so. Not sure if tomorrow is going to work out. I do want to go stream tomorrow, ideally in the morning, but it's all weather dependent and they are expecting rain showers for tomorrow, so I'll have another look tonight and tomorrow morning. Oké, Roy gaat nu echt. Fijne avond Roy, tot de volgende keer. See you later. Thanks for joining. Big Al, also going. Or was that towards Roy? To, not towards. Ooh, is that the sun? Oh, sorry, forgot to zoom out. Just a momentary glimpse of red over there. I think it is the sun actually just below, just above the horizon still, through an opening in the clouds over here. Expected to set in 20 minutes from now. Maybe even 15. Not too bad. Hey there, Tony. Tuning in from Chicago. Good afternoon to you then. Oh. Little glimpse of the sun. Some more openings over here. Let's turn back. More Embraer 190s, but I'm looking forward to the next one. Air France in an Airbus A320, or as they were originally called, the Bombardier C series. Follow Me Aviation asks if I am sure that it's not the moon. Well, I'm not entirely sure, but I am pretty certain. I think I would dare to place a bet with money on it. Right, let's go back, have a look at the first A320 of the show. The Air Baltics usually fly back and forth in the morning, similar to the A330s of Delta. That's all morning traffic. This is Air France flight 1140, A220-300, arriving from Paris Charles de Gaulle, flight time 46 minutes. Brand new airplane, started flying in March of this year. Little bit more reddishness. Out in the distance. Transavia 737 going to center. Arriving from Salzburg. And the next airplane to land on the Polderbaan is going to be Speedbird flight 440. Coming from London Heathrow, A320 Neo. Let's have a look, shall we? This airplane, 43 minutes ago, it departed from London, and the airplane is already 3 years old. First flight was in February of the year 2020. And the next airplane after this is going to be a Ryanair 737 arriving from Dublin. Alright, let's have a quick look. Alright, so at the moment runway usage, Polderbaan being used where we are standing next to, the center runway is being used, and the left runway is being used for departures. The current weather, few clouds at 1200 feet, 9 knot wind from 110 degrees, visibility 10 kilometers or more. The wind has changed to a bit more easterly, has increased a little bit to some 10 knots or so. And the weather radar, well, all the rain has dissipated, as you guys can see. We are going to see some more showers tonight, and they are also expected for tomorrow, so hope that I'm still able to go out for a live stream somewhere tomorrow. Time will tell. Now, it's getting more dark by the minute. I think that the image, looking at least on my laptop screen, is quite doable still. Looks like it. K3 also still out here patrolling, just passed us by. Members have access to a miniature version of this airplane. This car has a special custom emoji. And some nice reflection of the lights, the landing lights in the water. Ryanair flight 3100 arriving from Dublin, Ireland. 737-800. Flight time 1 hour and 6 minutes. 14-year-old airplane. Its first flight December 2008. KLM style landing, keep up the speed. Vacate late, sooner to the gate. And indeed a reasonable speed this time, Alvin. The speeding was only a one-time occurrence. You don't see them do that very often. Now there's also a car standing at the end. Is that? No, that's not a police car. That's just a visitor, I think, that is standing still. Officially it's not allowed to stand still over there at the roundabout, but you do see it happen quite regularly. 2 airplanes visible in the distance. A320 EasyJet arriving from Bristol, followed by a TUI MAX 8 arriving from Fuerteventura, and there is another A320 Neo from Birmingham as number 3. Can we see it already? I think it is in the bottom. Yeah, over there in the middle. So we do have another glide slope shot. Hey there Kevo, good evening. Who writes, hope you're staying warm. Well, the only thing not warm at the moment are my hands. I am in the process of looking for heated gloves, which I think are a better solution for my cold hands than the hand warmer I bought last year. Hand warmer also works, but it is a bit chunky. I think if you have thin gloves that also have touchscreen ability, that will probably work even better. So the fingers are getting a little bit stiff, the fine motor skills are a bit less. But I'm wearing my parka, which is from Fjallraven, a well-known outdoor brand, very warm, windproof, rainproof, and I'm also wearing rain trousers from a rain suit over my jeans. First of all, it looked like it might go rain after this afternoon. Fortunately it didn't, but it also is a good shield against the wind, so keeps you nice and warm. Now, optically a bit vague, but zooming in you can still quite well see that this is a Kuehne 737. Now, in actuality it is starting to get dark over here. I hope the footage isn't getting grainy. That is something I cannot assess from over here. The camera does seem to be able to pick up enough light still. Now, it seems that Air Baltic also flies later in the day, because I think this is one of their A220s arriving. However, and oh yeah, with the lights on you can also see the airplanes on the glide slope for the center runway from here. It is of course parallel arrivals. Right, well thanks for the feedback Vinny, Alvin and Wilma. Never did much low light testing with this camera, and the last time I did it I was having issues with the focus, and that had to do with the autofocus. But if you use manual focus and just set it to infinity, nothing is going to dance and go in and out of focus. EasyJet A320 Neo arriving from Birmingham. Austrian registration, so this is an Alpine on the ATC, on the radio. Alright, Alan, thanks for joining, mate. Hope to see you on the next one. Enjoy the rest of your day or evening. And Herbert, you're absolutely right. They're not exactly parallel, but they're also not exactly on the same height, the same altitude. This runway is more to the north than the other runway, and that means they are already a bit lower, and they're always a bit behind the airplane that goes to the center runway. They also have to have 1,000-foot separation vertically when they approach the glide slope, because the airplanes for this runway typically arrive from the west, so they will be flying east, and vice versa for the other runway. And not seldom do you see them fly base around the same area. Now I'm also seeing, oh, but no, that's too far of a stretch. I was about to say I'm seeing a bizjet going to the Schiphol Oostbaan. I'm not sure if visibility is enough to see it from over here. It does look like the camera can pick up enough light to see things happening over there in the distance, but I doubt if we are able to make out such a small bizjet from over here. Now there's also a, oh no, that's already quite far away. I was about to say a Dreamliner has taken off to Mexico, but I think okay. Looks a bit high, or is that just me? Probably just me. This is EasyJet flight 22519 A319 arriving from London Luton. Flight time 43 minutes. 12-year-old airplane. First flight June 2011. And the night rider who says, nice surprise to see you streaming on Thursday evening. That has to do with the mist, the fog, the dense fog that we had in the morning. I was hoping I could go out in the morning, but the weather was too bad. Couldn't see a thing. And since the weather forecast for the upcoming weekend is also not very good, I think we are expecting rain showers or at least precipitation on all days. So just to make sure that I could at least go out today, went out today. Well, Alvin, I already did some cardio today. Went to the city of Leiden by bike, which is 13 kilometers or so. Had to buy jeans, and I thought, let's do it while it is foggy, so that we can have it over with. So I already drove up and down, so that's 26k in the pocket, an hour of cardio. And Koen says the quality is still okay. I'm happy to hear that, Koen. Thanks for the feedback. It is really starting to get dark. I'm surprised that the lights over here on the cycling path, adjacent to the cycling path, have not gone on yet. You can see all the cars in the distance on the A9 highway are driving with their lights on. Now I can open up the iris, as it is called on video cameras, even more. This is full open diaphragm f2.8. Started at F8, now it's F, and then it was F4. Now we have gone to full open aperture, f2.8. This is Transavia, arriving from Valencia, flight 6332, 737-800. Flight time an hour and 59 minutes. And look at the tips of the flaps. You could see vortices. And this particular airplane, 7 years old. All right. Well, Alvin, I have an e-bike as well, but if it's windy or if you have to go uphill, that's when you use the support most of the time, at least in my case. Now you can see that the lights have gone on in the meantime. And are we having traffic? Second banana is coming our way. Arriving from Nottingham. It is still further out, just in front of the coast. Now, going to put my hands in my coat pockets for a moment to warm them up a little bit. They are getting somewhat stiff. I think it might be a nice last airplane for today, the A300 that is coming. Well, Herbert, a lot of people in the Netherlands need e-bikes. Young, old, fat bikes are also particularly popular among youth. So you'd be surprised how many e-bikes you see in the Netherlands these days. Uber Eats delivery, cycle delivery guys. The list goes on. Ooh, thank you so much, Alvin, for a banana peel super sticker. That's a bit Mario Kart, isn't it? Did you that there was this guy, this French guy who used to make YouTube videos years ago. I think he's no longer active making those videos, but he always had crazy videos, and one of them was him dressed up as Super Mario driving on a real go-kart through the city in city traffic, and you could also see him throw banana peels behind him just like in the Mario Kart game. Don't know what his name was anymore. It was a French guy. He was always, a lot of the videos ended with him being arrested by the police, or at least being stopped by the police. Rémi Gaillard, that was it, indeed. Meanwhile, Russell and Cheryl, the only birds that we have seen today. And while we're waiting for the A300, the bird controller is doing a patrol round with all the lights on. Particularly now when it's more dark, you can clearly see how bright it is. During the day, I can always see it clearly from the corner of my eye. Immediately stands out, even if it is completely on the other side of the runway. And it looks like the A300 is going to the other runway. That is sad. I think that's it. our banana. Runway inspection in progress, which is why that A300 is going to the center runway. Oh, I saw that, Alvin, that one where he dressed up as a speeding camera. That was so funny. Follow Me Aviation, you're welcome. Thanks for joining and hope to see you on the next one. Have a nice evening. Schiphol is damaging to your senses. If it's not your hearing that goes lost due to loud airplanes landing with thrust reverse, then your retinas go to shreds because of the bright lights used by the bird controllers. Well folks, I am going to wrap up after the airplane we are going to see land in a minute has landed. I also saw some blue lights in the distance. Police vehicle or an ambulance. I think it's an ambulance. Looks like an ambulance. Yeah, that's an ambulance. That's the silver lining of low light conditions. You can definitely make out those surfaces more easily. This is going to be the last airplane for this stream for today. Ladies and gentlemen, it is the second banana of the day. DHL A306. This one arriving from Nottingham. But it says EMA, wasn't that East Midlands or something? Flight 1443, this Airbus A300-600 is about to land after having flown for 47 minutes thus far. Bit younger than the other one. The other one was, oh no, that was one of the queens. That was 31 years old. I don't recall the age of the previous one. This one, 21 years old. The first flight of this airplane was in May 2002. Well, at least this saves the pilots a significant amount of taxi time compared with landing on this runway. You can also hear the reversers a little bit. Fuel too, absolutely. Right, well folks, I am going to wrap up now. Thank you all so much for joining me here this afternoon and early evening. I had a wonderful time and I hope you guys liked it as well. If you liked what you saw and you haven't done so already, join the 553 people that have already dropped a like for the show. And if you want to stay updated of upcoming streams, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon. I am going to wrap it up right now and pack everything in now that I still can see something over here. I hope that the weather will allow me to go out for another live stream tomorrow, ideally in the morning, but if need be in the afternoon. But time will tell. I will have a look at the weather tonight and also tomorrow morning. Hope to see you somewhere later in the weekend. If it's up to me, I would go out each day through Monday, but it's always weather dependent and the weather is not always that well in this time of year in the Netherlands. Thank you all for joining. Thanks everyone who was so kind to donate memberships or super stickers or super chats or become a member themselves. People who bought something from the merch store, thank you so much. Everybody who subscribed, of course, thank you so much. Moderators, thank you once again for keeping the chat a friendly place and welcoming place. Hope to see you all on the next one. Take care and see you soon. Bye for now.